Crump is medicine. Crump is healing. Crump is nurturing to the soul. It is a culture and a dance that allows you to be artistically expressive with no boundaries. And I love it.
Hip-hop is more than lyrics and dope beats. It's the expression of the dreams and aspirations of people worldwide. We've often heard from the musicians and producers who've helped shape hip-hop, but in this show, we're talking to some of the artists who have turned it into the global culture we know today. I'm hanging out with hip-hop dance legend, Marquisa Gardner-McCrae, AKA Miss Prissy, the queen of Crump. Crump is one of the most influential hip-hop dance styles coming straight from South Central Los Angeles. It started out with a few young adults, including Miss Prissy, dancing and experimenting in the streets, who've come to change how we move when the beat drops. Crump is a West Coast dance style that emerged in the late 1990s and early 2000s. It was originally performed in dance battles and parking lots, and then grew to the stage with major musical acts. Today, you can find Crump everywhere. Walk into a dance studio at Loyola Marymount University, and you'll discover that your professor is one of the founders of Crump. Marquisa, I know who you are. To me, you're Prissy, Miss Prissy, the queen of Crump. But can you tell us who you are?
Well, my real name, Marquisa Gardner, and I am also 1 out of 5 creators of the style and culture called Crump.
Let me see some hands. What's up?
Crump was built off of aggression and trauma. Just being underprivileged, not having access to certain things, and you're tired of fighting with your fists, so you transition that energy into dance.
With fast, rapid motions and convulsive movement, Crump is raw, expressive, and thrives on improvisation. Crump's roots are in clowning, a street dance style developed by Tommy the Clown. Tommy made himself a local legend by incorporating contemporary and original hip-hop dance moves into his clown performances at birthday parties. By adding more performers to his routines, Tommy discovered clowning as a positive creative outlet for young people. And by sheer luck, an audition introduced Miss Prissy to clowning.
So, I remember 1999, right after I graduated high school, I land on Manchester and Western at a motorcycle club. And I'm like, holy crap, like, what am I doing? And I hear loud music. The BPM was like so fast, like, and we walk in and it's super hot, super sweaty, like the walls were wet because of the amount of dancing that was going on inside. And this lady just blows a whistle and goes, "Are you here to audition?" And I'm just like, oh no. And now I'm introduced to clown dancing. And so clown dancing is huge in LA street dance culture. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. Like, ballet didn't work out. Dance is dance is dance is dance. And so, voila, here I am auditioning, and guess who I'm battling? Tie-dyes. What are the chances?
Miss Prissy and 4 other dancers from Tommy's crew laid the foundations for Crump. This included Caesar Tie-Dyes Willis, Christopher Lil C. Toller, Jason Dragon Green, and Joe Artis Big Mijo Roddy. What are some of Crump's foundational moves? What distinguishes it in comparison to other styles that are associated with hip-hop dance?
Just like ballet has fundamentals, so does Crump. The biggest fundamental in Crump is your chest pop. The way I like to teach this to my class is to kind of treat it like when you go to a restaurant, what is the first thing that you order? An appetizer. Boom, so your appetizer in Crump is your hype up. The way you get yourself ready to approach the round. That's maybe grabbing your jacket, brushing your hair, touching yourself, looking at the crowd. That's your appetizer. And then you move into ordering your main course. What's always on the main course? The protein. And the protein is what? The chest pop. If there is no chest pop, there is no Crump. You can throw your arms, you can stomp, but if that heart is not pumping, if that's not moving, it's not Crump. Then you have your sides, right? Rice. Everyone loves rice. Rice is equivalent to arm swings. Boom, bow, which is a jab, or arms being thrown up, or grab it over to the side. Those are your communication tools. Usually people that have done krump for a long time, this is almost like sign language. You start to realize like, oh, okay, they're telling a story on the way that they use their hands while they're dancing. Then you have your vegetable on the plate, which is your stops. This keeps you syncopated to the music. As long as you have those things, everything else is dessert. So no, a hat trick is not a part of krump, but it can be if you include it into your freestyle. Me dropping into the splits, no, that is not a part of krump, but it is now my signature, and I have fine-tuned it into the movement.
Krump is part of hip-hop's long tradition of dance. In the 1970s, young black and brown DJs and MCs organized parties that brought neighborhoods together. Everyone gathered to show off their moves at community centers, park jams, and school gymnasiums. Influenced by a wide array of dance styles, breaking helped young people gain recognition within their communities and gave them a safe space for creative expression. Breakers formed dance crews that performed and battled against one another for street cred and neighborhood bragging rights. But more importantly, dance provided them with an outlet for healing. Alongside breaking, other hip-hop dance styles like popping and locking became popular, and movies like Breaking and Krush Groove introduced wider audiences to hip-hop dance. And similarly, many people were introduced to krump in the early 2000s via David LaChapelle's documentary, Rise. The film followed krump's early days, and it helped launch Miss Prissy as a recognized dancer and choreographer, touring with Snoop Dogg and Madonna.
Can you talk about that period of transition when krump went from being something that you all were doing in South Central LA to it then being circulated throughout the world on screens and in music videos?
It was very rough. A lot of our bonds were broken because we became pop culture. So for many of us that blossomed from that film, it's like the gunshot when Rise came out, and a lot of us took off and some stayed in the blocks. And that caused a divide, a serious one, to where you had pop culture krump and then underground culture krump. And the motivation behind it was the lack of being able to cross over to pop culture.
Dancers bring their everyday struggles and the inequalities and injustice they face, and they funnel that energy into their dance.
I remember there was a time in my life where I was going through some serious trauma, and I would dive deep into the session. I would hit like 12 rounds back to back. Prissy, you all right? Yeah, I'm all right. And when I leave, I'm all right. When I got there, I was troubled. But I danced until the pain went away. I danced until I could get those thoughts out of my mind. I think it's great for mental health. So I want to clean up, starting with doing bills paid.
When did you decide to really prioritize not only performing krump, but also teaching it?
With that being said, let's get back at it. Here at LMU, I have implemented krump to where it is a prerequisite to get your degree in dance. Every one of my students, I want them to leave with the sense of self. If you don't walk out of this class being an amazing dancer, okay, so what? But what about your mindset? Do you now believe in yourself? Do you now feel like you have the will to win? Because if you don't, then that's where I failed. And so that's just like my main push in my class with my students. Give it your all the time.
It's a sanctuary for us. I feel like dancing with this group of people, dancing with Miss Prissy, like it really feels like a safe space. And like it's a space to mess up, it's a space to look crazy, but like, you know, at the end of the day, we're all supporting each other. So it's like really an outlet for my emotions.
I think I was really hesitant at first because it looks like it takes so much energy, and you can see like the passion that people carry and how it's like really linked off of people's experiences. And I was worried that if I didn't have those same experiences, I wouldn't be able to execute the way I would want to. But I feel like there's no better person to learn how to execute it from. And I know when I'm not looking right, someone who actually is like a founder who knows what they're talking about is gonna check me.
Krump's impact can be felt everywhere, from the club to the stage. And its success around the world speaks to its power as a medium for healing and self-expression. Hope you liked this episode of Outside the Lyrics. where we're looking at hip hop's impact with the folks who have helped shape its culture. Make sure to check out our next episode, where we're looking into some of hip hop's most iconic photographers, right here on PBS Voices.